What is up, folks? Ncaa 31 here, NCAA 12, NCAA Legacy Online Dynasty. Regular season finale, Arizona, 6-2 in the Pac-12. Not having a very good season. Looking for an 8th win overall, taking on the mighty Florida Gators, ranked number 2 overall. Trying to play spoiler, perhaps improve my bowl game positioning, and cause some BCS chaos. This video was intended to be a spread option rant. However, in my bowl game, granted it was against the CPU, I did see glimmers of hope and also things that I was doing incorrectly. But I'm still going to rant a little bit. Just a little bit, not a lot. As I said, I did see glimmers of hope, but overall, I decided this OD would be the OD I'd try to run the spread option in, and I picked the Gus Malzahn style of spread option to run. Gus Malzahn is one of my favorite offensive coordinators. If any of you guys have followed his offense and his play style, spread option is really kind of a misnomer for what he actually runs. His Tulsa teams used to finish, top 5, top 10, nationally in both rushing and passing, while his running game is based off of the power counter, the dive, and also some read option and QB, keeper elements. It's also a very much we're able to gash you through the air if we want to type of offense as well. And I realized that my mistake was I was actually running too much option. Not only because the game kind of limits how effective it is, but just relying on it too much and also possibly being a little bit too predictable in what I was calling. Because ideally I'd like to have, running Auburn's playbook, a season where I pass from between 2,800 and 3,000 plus yards, and also rush for 1,200 to 1,500 yards. And with Nick Foles, I was able to do the passing part pretty well, but the rushing element was a little bit missing. And here we have a blown-up play action. But I think the reason for the running being hit and miss is I wasn't setting up my plays well enough. Not running enough counters, dives, and whatnot to, set up the zone read game. And also talking to some people, there are some zone read plays that are more effective based on how the game is programmed than others. So here's a good jet sweep. So factoring in all that, I do believe that there is still some hope that I can get it clicking nicely in this online dynasty while I run my run and shoot and air raid stuff and others. Variety's a spice of life. Another good run here, and as you can see, there are some good plays that I pop here. But I get myself into trouble when I overuse the option game. I think you're going to see an example of that here. My granted, it should work better than it does. Here's a nice give on the motion option there. And one of the things that's helped me as far as practicing it against the computer and also online is that, and I hadn't thought about this before, was sometimes even though you read the defensive end and he stays home, that you can actually keep with the quarterback and follow the back into the hole, and the back kind of acts as an extra lead blocker. But where it gets tricky though is this phase of the game. The play action pass phase is just so easy to neutralize, because it seems like anytime you rush 5, the blocking will break down, And of course we have our good friend pass commit. I've been gradually weaning myself off the game plan features for the past couple of months because I just don't like what they do to the game. And I don't think they should be in the game, but I'm convinced that the game is deliberately programmed in a way that you're forced to use them to some degree or another. You know, my whole school of belief is if your team is full of low awareness dunces, then that's the way it is. Or if your guys don't have the hit power to force fumbles, tough. To me, they kind of defeat the purpose of what the ratings are intended to do. This doesn't make any sense, to me at least, to have a game plan setting that transforms your guys into heat-seeking missiles that are just trying to blow up everything in sight. Let the ratings play out the way they're supposed to play out. But like I said, I think the game is programmed in a way where we all at least have to use some of them. Like, there are some plays that I can't get to work without aggressive blocking. They just won't. The blocking just will not hold up. And also to prevent your guys from being duped by people who like to run play action in long yard situations, you do have to pass commit. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. But I try to use them as minimally as possible. That's just my own personal preference. And right here we got a pretty good game going. I would have liked a better go for the ball animation than that, but the Arizona Wildcats are hanging in there against Mr. Kamish and his Florida Gators. Gators are always a tough matchup. They're just so dang fast on both sides of the ball. Demps is a headache. Rainey's a headache. If any of them get into space, it's a problem. Defense, they have fast, athletic defensive linemen. Good linebackers that can play in space. Good man and zone coverage secondary. So they're a headache to go up against. But I'm hanging in there, scrapping away. A thrower trying to run a spread option.
Back to pass. Nice job there to bring up a 4th down.
And of course, rolling with the 3-3-5 stack. I get messages from people from time to time asking me about stopping the run, if they're having problems stopping the run, what to do. And one of the things you may want to consider, as a matter of fact, what I do with this team is I use the defensive tackle substitution package. If you're an online dynasty or offline dynasty and you're recruiting correctly, your defensive tackles should be block shedding and strength rating beasts. So what you should do is use your defensive tackle substitution package, which will place, it'll keep your nose tackle in the game, but also place defensive tackles at defensive end. And even if they're not the greatest block shedders, if they're stronger than your defensive ends, they at least won't get pancaked. And it'll help free up your linebackers to shoot gaps, make plays, come in and pursue unblocked. Like I had a play there the last drive where even though my defensive tackles didn't get through, it freed up a linebacker to help string Jeff Demps out. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're reordering your depth chart to make sure you have, your strong, high block shed defensive tackles high on your depth chart there. And here the Gators have taken the lead, trying to respond. I try to pop a little QB blast here with Foles. Foles can run pretty decent, but I just don't like the sluggish acceleration that they give the quarterbacks. I don't know why. Well, I do know why they did that. They're afraid of people cheesing with the Denard Robinsons of the world. And as I stated in my wish list video, that's really the wrong approach to take. Program the plays to run the way they're supposed to be run. Here's Demps being Demps. Because you're never going to stop people from cheesing your game. So you might as well just focus on programming all the plays to run the way they're designed to run, and just let the chips fall where they may. And don't punish people who have no intention of cheesing your game, but just want to run the offense authentically from doing so. That's part of the reason why running this style of offense is such a big pain in the behind, because I end up getting frustrated and just start air raiding. Now if I'm going to do that, I might as well just run my air raid offense, or run and shoot offense.
They lose 4 there.
That's just a sound.
Actually able to catch the guy in space here.
A little toss across the middle. Brought down at the 29.
Zone is a weird team. They do have a bit of talent, but they play so inconsistent, especially Foles. Like, Foles can make some really great throws, but then he'll just inexplicably brain cramp on you.
Straight in the middle, and he meets the defense.
And the entire team is like that. You know, Antolin is a good little back, but he'll occasionally, you know, crap out and be useless. Kreiner will occasionally drop a ball or be completely unable to get open. Now here's a coup de grace that made me pitch a fit. I mean, what am I supposed to do? The defensive end crashes in, I keep the ball, but he still stuffs me. And we get back into the game here with a quick out to Mr. Kreiner. So that's my take on that, and running a more balanced or run-oriented spread as a change-up to my air raid and run and shooting ways. I'm still going to stick to it, because like I said, I did see some glimmers of hope in my bowl game, and also I realized that there are things I was doing incorrectly. And that's the way I like to roll. You know, instead of automatically blaming the game at first, I always try to see what is it that I'm doing incorrectly that could help solve the problem. And granted, there are things that are problematic in the game that make it harder to run than it should. Missed a user pick opportunity there, but I tend to believe that there's always an answer that'll help you at least mitigate it a little bit if you're willing to look and take the time to be patient and look for an answer. And hopefully, with Ncaa 13, they'll improve that aspect of the game a little bit.
Adjustments on the sideline, though. I don't know if they can stop their passing.
Now this run I completely screwed up. I didn't think that guy was going to be blocked, so I tried to set up my lineman to block him, and I ended up getting chased by the guy inside. I think I probably could have scored on that run if I kept on going, or gotten a really big game. And again, I'm able to pop some nice runs occasionally if I'm not too option reliant.
Less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Here we do a nice little HB toss. So I guess the moral of the story is if you want to run the spread option, don't rely too much on the option. As counterintuitive as that sounds.
He's changing things up.
Bad throw here, I get lucky.
With the pass incomplete.
These guys especially.
But there is a throw here that's coming up that really aggravated me. Not this, but you're going to see it in a couple of minutes where, actually after this play, or after the next play, I believe he kicks a field goal here. Yeah, field goal attempt coming up, and then the next play.
He gets it up, and it's long enough, and it's good. And that was
nope, not the next play.
throw on first down. Completes it, but he didn't.
Incomplete pass there, let him out of bounds. Here we go. Is it this one?
Steps up in the pocket.
Nope, not that one either.
And for Howard, that sack was his 5th.
Where is it?
He really fought to get to the quarterback that time.
Yes. Here we go. I see that no one's in the deep middle, so I decided to go to Kreiner on the deep post. Except there's one problem. Kreiner does not run the post route. He just keeps on going on a streak.
And that just might do it. Intercepted.
Stop hijacking my receiver's route, CA.
He's taken down at the 35-yard line.
That's aggravating. But anyhow, good game, good effort. I learned some lessons running the spread option this season, and hopefully I'll be able to do it better in Season 2. Talk to you all later. Peace.